Classmates have already attended this in person. We're super excited to have you. Before we get going, I'm going to introduce who's here to talk to you today. As most of you know, my name is Diane Berry. I'm one of the school counselors and I work with students whose names begin with A through HA. Jen, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Jen Marsden. You all know me, the College and Career Specialist.
And Brianna?
I'm Brianna, and I work with students, last names H-E through N. And then also we have Maurice, but he is not with us right now. And he works with students O through Z.
And Maurice is proctoring AP exams. He'd like to be here, but he's doing something else in a different part of the building. And finally, we have our assistant principal, Becca Leroy. Becca, you want to introduce yourself?
I feel like you did it for me.
I did.
I'm Becca. Nice to be here.
Thank you for being here. All right, so as we start out, we want to kind of acknowledge that you all are going through a big transition. You're going through both an ending and a beginning of a new chapter in your life. We're really excited. And before we kind of go on to graduation logistics, just want to take a moment to think back a little bit. Whenever we kind of go through transitions or rites of passage, it's always nice to think about how we got there, what we've accomplished, what we've gone through, how we've grown. If you kind of think back, you began your education 13 years ago in the year 2008. I know that for some of you, I worked at Bellevue Elementary, so I'm very acutely aware of what kindergarten looks like. And for most of you, no matter where you went to kindergarten, if you think back, you were spending time on the carpet. Remember carpet time? Learning your letter sounds. Lining up was difficult. Even that was a skill that you were practicing. Even though that's something obviously you soon came to take for granted. Recess was a big deal all through elementary school. By the time you got to third grade, you had learned to read. I don't know if most of you know this, but you spend the first 3 years of elementary school just learning to read. And then by third grade, it flips. You read to learn. That's when your assignments get a little bit more complicated and now you're reading to learn. All right. So many of you went to the elementary schools here in Ashland. Maybe you went to John Muir School, maybe the Siskiyou School. Maybe you came from a different district or a different state. Most of you went through our middle school. As you know, by the time you got into middle school, your assignments got longer, your assignments got more complicated, your social life got more complicated. By middle school, students really want to fit in. And sometimes that can create a lot of stress, as you all know. Middle school years tend to be pretty bumpy years. We're glad you made it through. You also lost out on your recess. I'm not quite sure. We wish sometimes we were more like that country Finland, where you keep having recess no matter what all through life. After middle school, you joined us here at the high school. Most of you who joined us in 9th grade year attended Fresh Start. Then you had that first half day of school. Again, just like in middle school, you were kind of meeting new people. Some of those new people that you met, you're friends with today. Some of them you're not. Again, this process isn't just about learning academic skills. It's about learning who you are, learning social skills. Our hope for you as you move on into this next chapter of your life is that you take not just what you've learned in the classroom, but really you take what you've learned, the best things you've learned from your peers, from your teachers, from your parents, guardians, from family, friends, and you set those goals for yourself to be the best version of yourself as you move along. All right, I'm going to transition over to Brianna.
All right, so as most of you probably know, June 8th is your last day of school. So that's less than 2 weeks away, 2 weeks from yesterday. So, sorry, I'm getting feedback on my end. Okay. So the last day of school is June 8th, and then also that's the last day for you to hand in any assignments for credit. So if there's a class that you're not passing, your teachers, counselors have likely reached out to you to make a plan with you to pass those classes by June 8th. So here's what's left for you to do in the next 2 weeks. Obviously, pass all of your graduation requirements. And again, if there's a class that you're not passing, that is a requirement. Your counselors have reached out to you to support and set up a plan to get you passing those classes. You'll also want to pay any outstanding fees that you have. And Diane will talk a little bit more about this in a later slide. So if you don't have all of your requirements passed and those fees paid, you won't be able to get your diploma and you will not be able to walk during graduation. Diane, can you go back to the last slide? Thank you. And then if you haven't already, pick up and order your cap and gown. Again, this is something Diane will go into more detail in a couple of slides. If you're planning on walking for graduation, you'll want to order your cap and gown. If that's something that you're not planning on doing, but you still want a cap and gown, you're welcome to order one as well. And order and pick up a yearbook. We don't know when the yearbook will be ready to pick up, but if a yearbook is something that you're wanting to have, make sure that you order it. And then also a survey was sent out to all of the graduating seniors to see what ceremony you would like to participate in. Right now, we actually have an overflow of students who have signed up for the first ceremony. So if you haven't signed up yet, you'll have to do the second ceremony. And then also for the car parade, that was also on that survey to sign up for. Okay, so to pass your graduation requirements, 60% will earn you a pass. There's a couple students out there that we've connected with who are pretty much on the cusp of that pass fail. So just 60% is all you need. Make sure you're reaching out to your teachers, setting up a plan, typically identifying the assignments worth the most points will get your grade up the fastest. And then turning in any late assignments. So similar to last semester, you can turn in any of your assignments with no penalty for turning the assignments in late. All right, and so Diane is going to take it from here.
Brianna, do you mind continuing for these? I think it's my computer that's creating the feedback right now.
Oh, yeah. All right, so those outstanding fees that I was talking about, if you would like, you can take a picture of this QR code and it'll take you to the quick link and you'll scroll down to the library and hit that sign in and it will show you if you have any library fees, cafeteria fees, class materials, AP test, and then also an email was sent out to your student email letting you know if you have any outstanding fees. You can also drop by the front office and they'll let you know if you have any fees. I also want to mention that every student was charged a yearbook fee. And this is something, if you don't want a yearbook fee, you can just ignore that. They just put it on everyone's account. So if you see that and you think, what the heck, I don't want to purchase a yearbook, that's totally fine. You can just ignore it. All right, so caps and gowns. If you haven't ordered a cap and gown yet, there's still time. The company that we order them through will be sending out a final order this Friday. So if you order online, they'll send the cap and gown to your house. So just make sure to do that either today or tomorrow. I think by Friday it would be too late. And we also have some extra gowns available for students who, if that's a barrier to purchasing a cap and gown and you still want to participate, call the main office or, drop by the main office if you're on campus, and they can hook you up with a cap and gown. And then also students that are eligible for fee reduction, such as free and reduced lunch. You can also pick up the price waiver at the main office for the cap and gown. Okay, so with the yearbook, it's a reduced price this year, $45. Again, if you're eligible for the fee reductions, go down to the main office and let them know that you would like a yearbook. You can also talk to your counselor about this. We're happy to help, and we want to make sure that you're able to, participate and get a yearbook if that's something that you want, but that might be a barrier to getting that. Okay, so graduation survey that I mentioned earlier, there's 2 ceremonies. The first ceremony is actually over capacity by about 30 students. So if you signed up for the first ceremony and you want to get a group of your friends together to move from the first ceremony to the second ceremony, let the front office know. I'm not sure if you're still able to give a speech or musical performance. Becca, do you know if students are still able to sign up, or?
That I'm not sure of. I can check with Nora. I'll go check now.
Okay, perfect. And then on that survey, you'll identify who your 2 guests will be. And if you wanted to participate in the car parade, I don't think it gave you an opt-out option for the car parade. So if you don't want to do the car parade, drop by the front office. That's kind of like the go-to place for all of these things. So if you don't want to do the car parade, just let Nora in the front office know that you're opting out of that.
They can still sign up.
Okay, perfect. So if you want to give a speech or do a musical performance during your graduation ceremony, let Nora at the front office know.
Okay, this is me. So next steps. So this is not necessarily after graduation, but planning for after graduation now, right? I've been trying to meet with each senior one-on-one. So I know I've met one-on-one with a lot of you that are here. If I haven't, because you're CDL, or when I came to your econ class, you weren't there, please reach out to me and we could set up a time to Zoom so I can hear about what you're thinking for after graduation, and if you have any questions, and if there's any way I can support you. And we just want you to know, just like we're here to support you now, we are here for you as you move forward. Next year, I have lots of students and parents who reach back out to me over the summer and in the fall, kind of navigating some of the college and potential job pathways. So know that you can always ask for support if you need it. Okay, next slide. Okay, so one of the opportunities ahead for some of you are jobs, training opportunities, internships. Some of you are already working. Some of you may be looking for summer jobs. Some of you might be planning on working or looking for an internship next year instead of going on to school. So we have information about a lot of these opportunities. There's a job and opportunity board that is being updated outside of the counseling office that you can stop by and check. Also, the counselors and I are getting emails pretty much every day from organizations and businesses that have internship opportunities, that have job opportunities. So if this appeals to you, if you want more information, stop by the job board. If you're not on campus, you can reach out to us for more information, and we'll get that to you. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this is about next steps to college pathways. For those of you who next year are planning to go to a 4- or 2-year college or starting some kind of professional career school or program. So really important, and if you've met with me one-on-one, it's one of the first things we talk about is understanding your financial aid award and checking your financial aid award status and looking at the cost of attendance for your program or school for next year. So if I haven't met with you, the way to do this, if you haven't gotten a hard copy of your financial aid award in the mail, is you log into your school's student portal, you look for the financial aid section, and you click on financial aid award status for the school year coming up, 21-22. So if you need help with this, please reach out to me. We can Zoom, we can share screens. I can help you do this. One of the reasons students that I've met with, I try to make it really clear to you. We'll look through your FAFSA so I can let you know what you should be expecting. If you're eligible for a Pell Grant, if you're eligible for the Oregon Opportunity Grant, the Oregon Promise Grant, so you know to advocate for yourself if you do not see those in your financial aid award packages. And often in the community college award packages, they don't come out sometimes even until summer or early fall because they just take longer to get that information out. So it's really important for you to know that that money is going to be available for you, because I have a lot of students who don't see it over the summer who are looking at community colleges and think they're not going to get that money. So they make other plans not to go and they lose out on that opportunity. So reach out to me if you have questions about that. Another thing about financial aid awards is just making sure you understand the loans offered to you if you're planning to accept them. And remember the difference between the subsidized and unsubsidized loans. If you're eligible for the subsidized, that's the best one because it doesn't start accruing interest until you graduate. So, or leave school, but hopefully you all will continue and graduate if you're going to school. So check in with me if you have questions about that. And Karen Bratz, our scholarship coordinator, sent out an email earlier this week to all students who have been awarded local and OSAC scholarships. So if you don't normally check your ASD email and you applied for scholarships, make sure you check and look for an email from Karen Bratz. And then just another thing, I know we're kind of running a little short on time, Oregon Promise. If you are thinking community college or considering it, you should check for an email from the Oregon Promise from OSAC. It will let you know that, hey, you've received the Oregon Promise, log into your OSAC portal to see what you've gotten, or hey, we see you applied, but there's some pieces missing. You didn't apply to a community college, or you didn't put a community college on your FAFSA. That's another thing I've been working one-on-one with students on. The deadline to have all of that done is June 1st. So quickly approaching. So if you have questions about this, aren't sure, check, email me, we can Zoom, I can help you figure all that out. And one of the last things I want to mention is for those of you going on to college, you may have taken AHS classes where you've got dual credit with SOU or RCC. You're going to want to send one or both of those transcripts to the school you're going to. And the way you do that is to log into your portal at those schools and request that they send an official transcript. There's about a $5 charge. Look for emails from me in the next week or two. I'm going to be sending out with these kind of next step type bullet points, and they will actually have the link to RCC and SOU on how you go through that process. Okay, next slide, please. So this QR code, and also I just put it in the chat again, there's an actual link, is to the Senior College and Career Pathways Survey and Final Transcript Request. And this is how we know if you are going on to a college or program next year, where to send your final transcript, because schools or programs want to know that you actually did graduate from high school. So snap a picture of that with your phone or click on the link in the chat. You don't have to complete this minute, but it'd be great if you can complete it today because we're trying to compile that information. It also gives you the chance at the end to say, hey, I have questions about financial aid, can we Zoom? Or, hey, I really don't know what I'm doing. I'd really like to talk to you about job opportunities or some other options. I've talked to quite a few students in the last couple of weeks who are thinking they're going to work full time, take a gap year in terms of schooling. But when I tell them that, hey, there's this $4,000 of Oregon Promise money available to you if you want to take a couple of classes starting at the end of September, they're kind of thinking like, hey, yeah, maybe I do want to take a couple of classes because, I'll be working, but I'll have time. And that's $4,000 I'm potentially leaving on the table that I could use to further my education. So let me know if you have questions about any of that. Okay.
All right, is it me?
Stuff. Now Becca gets to tell you about all the cool stuff.
Yay. This is so hard. If you're willing, just turn your camera on for me for even like a second so I can see who all's here. Because that's like the fun part for me, seeing you all. Any takers? Any takers? No one? No one's going to turn their camera on? Oh, maybe. Sophia, maybe? No. Tough crowd. Oh, hey, Sophia. Hey, Acacia. Acacia's out there. She's just not turning her camera on for me. Okay, I will go through this quickly. So graduation rehearsals, they are June 10th. You have to attend these or you can't attend the ceremony. Ceremony 1 rehearsal is going to be 10 a.m. on the field. Ceremony 2 is going to be 1 p.m. on the field. We know that it can be either super hot or it can be really cold and wet. So just make sure you're paying attention to what the weather is going to be and dress for that. Probably layers is the best option. Make sure you bring water because it's going to be about 4 hours. Just kidding. And if you did the math, it's not going to take that long, but you can get through it as quick as it takes you to just run through it without any flaws. So be present, be there for a short amount of time. You'll run through it a time or two, and then you will be on your way. Next slide. And then for the ceremonies, you all are gonna get to AMS and park there, and then we're gonna bust you over to the high school because we wanna have parking available for all of the visitors and guests that are gonna be coming, which is your 2 guests that you're bringing with you. And then make sure that you go straight to the gym, you'll get lined up, and then you'll head out to the football field. And we know it's not Lithia Park, but we're super excited that we get to have any kind of in-person graduation ceremony. So yay for that. Next slide. And then for the car parade, I guess it opted you into the car parade. So if you don't want to do the car parade, you can go ahead and send Nora an email in the front office and let her know that you won't be attending that. If you are, just remember 1 student per car. We still want to be cautious about COVID. And then also you need to have an adult, a guardian, a coach, or somebody driving so that you can hang out the sunroof, out the window, be celebrated. It was really cool last year. A lot of community members, teachers, and people came out and lined the street to cheer you guys on. So if you want to be a part of that, it's really awesome. And I encourage you to, and if not, no worries, just email Nora. And then if you don't have access to a car or you want some other option, then just go ahead and let us know. Contact the main office because we have some options too that we can hook you up with a ride if you want that.
So is it one or the other, or is it both?
For like the graduation and the parade?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so you don't have to go to the parade at all. You can do both if you want to, but the parade's just kind of an optional for fun thing that you can sign up to do.
Okay.
Thanks for the question.
Sorry, do you mind if I for the what part we are, which group I like submitted the one I wanted. Is that the one I just go to, or do we get an email telling us which one we're a part of?
You are going to get an email from the office if you were one of those people that signed up for the first ceremony. We're going to take the last 30 and then move them over. But if you have a group of friends and you all know that you are fine moving to the second ceremony, you can get a hold of the front office and let them know that as well, because we want to keep friend groups together as much as possible. But yeah, you'll get confirmation if you got moved.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
Okay, one last slide. Thank you, Becca. One last slide. We just want to leave you with just a few final suggestions. While you've been here at Ashland High School, and even starting way back in kindergarten, you've had teachers and parents and guardians and family members all kind of telling you, this is what you need to do. And they've kind of set a lot of goals for you. And those goals have been moved from school year to school year, and do the best that you can. This is going to be your opportunity to make your own goals and shape who you are according to those young adult kind of decisions. So we really want to make sure that you feel our support, our continued support, and know that we are going to be a resource for you in the year to come if you need help with information gathering or decision making. We really encourage you to surround yourself with people who support your best self. And I think at this point in life, most of you have a pretty good sense of what those kinds of people are. We want you to help others be their best selves and find out in your new programs or work situations or colleges or universities what the support systems are. There are always support systems. It might be the student services center at the school that you're going to, or it might be an admissions counselor at a trades program that you're attending. But there are always adults who are there to answer questions, to help you problem solve. You really don't have to do this all on your own. People have made many, many mistakes. Yesterday, this same group of adults was all laughing after our presentation, one of our presentations, and talking about creating an alternate presentation that was titled, you know, what not to do based on our own paths. And we thought it might be kind of funny because obviously all of us have made good decisions and not so good decisions. And what we want for you is that you take advantage of talking to people around you to help you, again, not have to stumble maybe as much as we did. And also know that you don't have to know it all right now. You have a big, long life ahead of you, and this next chapter is still about exploration and about finding out what you're most passionate and interested in and what fits you the best. So you do have time, and we're here to support you. Before we end this, are there any kind of last questions that you have just for this time? Okay, my last little bit of encouragement. If you have if you have classes that you still need to get through, that you're kind of teetering on the edge of passing, please, please, please get those done now. And if you're a little overwhelmed, reach out again to your teachers or your school counselors, and we'll try to support you with those. All right. Thank you all. And congratulations.